I was just sitting here thinking today about and reading stuff on the internet. Al Sharpton and Jesse Jackson. Yesterday I said it on racism. Today I'm just going to continue it into today. You have two leaders in the black community, and I'm not a racist person. I just hate everybody all the same. There's a few people I like other than that. I don't care for you. But Al Sharpton and Jesse Jackson, and I would love for somebody to write them and tell them about this, and we can stage a public appearance, and we can go to that brand new courthouse or Bill Parish place in Ringgold. We can sit there and have a little debate. You can have everybody you want to come up there, and we'll talk all y'all want to. I would love to hear Jesse Jackson come up there and Al Sharpton to come up there and tell me. I just got one question for you, and I'd love to hear your answers. I'd love to hear both of y'all's answer. Why are you two, Al Sharpton and Jesse Jackson, why are you two the most racist people I've ever heard? I was clicking through the news the other day, and I heard Jesse Jackson talking, and I watched it for about 10 seconds. And after that 10 seconds, I felt dumber for having listened to what you had to say. You want to preach equality and racism, all this stuff about how racist we are as Americans. You want to preach all this. Have you ever stood behind a white person that's getting in trouble, or stood behind a black on white victim, a white person being the victim? You ever stood behind them? No, I haven't seen it. I bet it eats you up inside whenever you have to shake a white man's hand and your cold, black, nasty heart. And I use black as a color, not as a race, but your cold, dark, 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 dark red heart. I bet it eats you up inside to extend your hand to a white man. And people always preach about equality, and there's nothing wrong being equal. I believe if someone gets out and works just like I do, just like my friend Justin Culpepper gets out and works like anybody else, you should be equal. If you do not work, and I'm not talking about a mother, I'm talking about people that have the ability to work, has a vehicle, can get up every day and go to work just like everybody else. If you have that ability and you don't work and you choose to live off the government and off of somebody's pity, I feel sorry for you, whether you're black, white, blind, crippled, and crazy, active, or lazy. I do not like you. I do not like you. You are trash to today's society. Trash. I understand the mothers need to stay home and take care of their kids. Economy is tough, and it's hard to find a job. But for those that give up on looking for a job and just is fine with just drawing your government checks and all this stuff, when you have the ability to work just like I do, I'm big. I can sit there and say that it's a handicap and get me a Social Security check. No, I'm not that way. I have never drawn an unemployment check, and I never will as long as I live. As long as I have the air in my lungs and the capability of getting my big ass up, going to get in the car and going to work. I will not draw an unemployment check. I don't agree with it. I wish that if you didn't work, you didn't get a check, and that's it. You struggle for what you have like everybody else. But anyway, back to Sharpton and Jesse Jackson. Hell, let's talk for a second about Spike Lee. All the Spike Lee stuff didn't really hit the news because he wrote a check to these people. What about Spike Lee being charged, or Spike Lee being charged for, giving out somebody else's information? He gave out these people's information, and they had death threats and all this stuff because people thought that was Zimmerman's home. Anyway, back to the subject, Sharpton and Jackson. Two of the most pig-headed, ignorant, racist sons of biscuits there are out there. You two, Jesse Jackson, Al Sharpton, racist, 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 racist. Do not talk about race. You cannot talk about racist people. I know people that live in a casino, they have 52 cards to make their life out of. You have one, and that's the race card. So I cannot stand either one of you that's wanting to uproar the black community against the white community when it was a Mexican guy that did it. Let's get real, you ignorant, racist pieces of garbage. I don't have your formal education. I wonder what you put on your taxes at the end of the year. What do you say that you are? A shit starter? Is that even a job title? How much of this taxes for your ignorant appearances are you claiming? You're garbage. 90% of the crimes committed in the United States are black on black crimes. You don't hear all that on the news. They don't make a big uproar because one black guy got shot by another black guy. 80% of the interracial crimes that happens is blacks against whites. And when you have Jackson and Sharpton preaching stuff like they're doing, that's where it's coming from. Stemming hatred from black people to white people. I'm 33 years old. I've never owned a slave. I've got out, mowed and weeded and washed cars to survive. I've been a slave myself, but you don't hear me wanting something. Nobody owes me nothing unless I earn it. And that's all it should be. That's all it should be. No more demonstrations from the KKK or NAACP. The NAACP is accepted, the KKK is not. Make it even across the board. You want equality? I want equality too. I'm going to go meet in places if you're going to go meet in places. Think about that, Sharpton and Jesse Jackson, you ignorant, racist bastards.